Gravity of Acceleration by Arthur Telling. I had explained the idea of gravity to Ryan. It behaves exactly like acceleration, I said. I should have guessed. It set Ryan off. That's it, Ryan responded. Science must always look for the common root. If gravity and acceleration are exactly alike, then gravity and acceleration must be the same thing. Gravity is acceleration, or acceleration is gravity. The presumption must be made. I'll buy it, I replied, rolling my eyes. Which is it? Is gravity acceleration, or is acceleration gravity? Very elementary, said Ryan, smiling. What is gravity? What is acceleration? Man can create acceleration. You do it every day, many times. You get in your car and step on the gas. You are accelerating. Acceleration is simple to comprehend. It is not constant movement. It is, accelerating movement. When you go faster and faster, you feel an effect like gravity. Your back gets glued to the back of your seat when you step on the gas. No mystery. So if we can create acceleration, then we obviously know what acceleration is. But gravity? What is gravity? Let us mull on the truth that mind creates the physical world. The truth, I thought. Ryan had spoken of this mind over matter thing many times, but I have never accepted it. The world is real, solid as a rock. Bam, bam. I pound my hand down on my desk, but explaining this to Ryan is futile. So I played along. Ryan continued. Objects are not really objects, they are symbolic creations of the mind. So the idea of gravity being a result of a solid object is mere poppycock. Poppycock, I interjected. God, Ryan, that word is deep, really deep. But my satirical effort failed to derail him. He continued. So there is not really any solid fixed object, and therefore the idea of solid objects creating a force called gravity is dubious. What we call gravity must be acceleration. We stand upon a foundation that is continually moving faster and faster, and this acceleration of movement is what glues us down to the earth. The earth, mind you, is a mere point of consciousness. It is continually accelerating. If it stopped, we would begin to float or fly off. Oh, great, I replied. So the earth keeps getting bigger and bigger. Crazy. No, not bigger. You're stuck on the earth being a solid object. The earth is a strand of consciousness, not an object. As such, it is accelerating. Ryan's smug look had me wondering how to undermine him. Oh, great, I said. So we are riding on the strand of consciousness that keeps going faster and faster, faster and faster, and on and on, on and on. Why wouldn't we at some point fly apart? Ryan replied, rubbing his chin. You are right. We cannot just keep accelerating. I was thinking in terms of constant movement, but gravity is, of course, not constant movement. The movement must keep increasing, or we are in that area of relativity, like being on a moving train. If the Earth was merely in movement, we would float about. The acceleration. I'm going to have to sleep on this. That Ryan did, sleep on it. For the very next morning, he was back telling me he had figured this one out. Oh, geez, I said. We're back on this crazy thing again? Oh, yes, and it is earth-shattering. Sit down. Earth-shattering, I said. Understatement, he snapped. All day long we move about performing tasks, walking, talking, eating, doing things. Movement. Life is movement. We wake up full of energy. Then, as the day progresses, our energy is depleting. We are reaching the limits of acceleration. The acceleration is about to decline. Our focus begins to go elsewhere. We call this drowsiness. Then we fall into unconsciousness, losing our physical focus. This we call falling asleep. De-acceleration begins. We are met with the images and other stimulations from the 5 physical senses that we had experienced in a congruent form during acceleration. But now the forms are haphazard, flying into our minds disorderly. It is because we are de-accelerating, falling back into the images and forms that were built during acceleration. Crazy, I said. Let me give you a hint as to who may be right, Ryan said. Consider the astronomers. They had thought that the universe was expanding at a uniform rate, but new observations indicate it is expanding at an accelerated rate. Every inch of the universe is expanding, and thus the farther away something is, the greater it is accelerating. It is not me saying this, astronomers are. Of most interest is that the acceleration takes place away from the observer. Everything in the universe is accelerating away from your point of existence. Everything is accelerating away from you. This is what the astronomers say, and they are right. Everything accelerates away from you, or from me, because our separate points of awareness are all that exists from our separate viewpoints. Let me give you a hint into the future. If I am right, these same astronomers who say that the universe is accelerating will find through observation that while that is true, equally true will be the fact that nothing is moving farther away from anything else. It will boggle their minds. They will say that such a thing is impossible, that something cannot be accelerating away yet not be moving any more distant away. Things in the universe, if they are accelerating away with every inch of space, should be rapidly becoming more and more distant from us, more and more with time. Yet astronomers cannot even agree on whether the universe is expanding or contracting. Why? Because both are happening. Expansion in the waking state and contraction during sleep. There was little I could say, for I was indeed aware of the controversy as to the state of the universe. Then Ryan, true to form, laid another one on me. Instantaneous communication, he said. Quantum physicists know it exists. How does it exist? Real mystery, I replied, trying not to encourage Ryan further. No mystery at all, said Ryan. Didn't I already tell you that 3-dimensional space is a creation of the mind? Not sure, I said, feigning innocence. It is, said Ryan. So, 3-dimensional space is a product of the mind. So what is instantaneous communication? Okay, I bite. What is it? I asked. What is it? What is communication from one place to the same place? If there is no space, then there is no non-instantaneous communication, right? Oh, yeah, sure, I replied, grinning and feeling a little bit stupid, but not really knowing why. No space, no distance. What is delayed communication? What is the speed of light? Keep talking, I replied, but I wondered if I could somehow change the conversation to who's going to the Super Bowl. The speed of light is not speed at all, said Ryan. I rolled my eyes. He continued, it is merely a delay, a pause, for creating in the mind a sense of distance. There is not really anything but instant communication. All communication is instantaneous, Because there is no space and thus no distance. Now, given this, what is acceleration? Oh God, I said, I had enough problems with just acceleration, not this. No problem with acceleration, said Ryan. Space is an illusion, a creation of the mind. So what is acceleration? What is acceleration when no space exists for accelerating? Acceleration must be some kind of intensity. I'm drawing a blank. I'll have to sleep on this. Do that, I said, feeling queasy that I would be continuing this odd and eccentric conversation with Ryan again the next morning. But that night I had a dream. I was sitting in my room and heard a knock at the door. Knock, knock. I opened the door and saw Ryan standing there in the doorway. He was excited. Hey, Guy, he said. I have found the answer, and I couldn't wait. I had to come and tell you now. Here in the middle of the night? Ryan looked perplexed. It's 11 a.m., he said, and beautiful and sunny outside. I shook my head. Ryan, I said. I thought for a moment. Okay, come on in and tell me what you found. There's no space, Ryan said. You and I are having a conversation inside your head. Tell me I'm wrong. I thought again for a moment, realizing that this time Ryan was right. I was dreaming. There was no sun in my head and no Ryan in my head, yet here I was talking to Ryan. Okay, smartass, I said. This conversation is a product of the mind. There is no space. We're dreaming, but you're 5 feet away from me. How the hell can this be happening? The mind quite automatically creates the delay, Ryan said, straight-faced, and it interprets this delay as distance. I think I told you this earlier. That you did, I said, but I wasn't dreaming then. You've caught me in a bit of a predicament, catching me with my pants down, literally, fast asleep in bed. Well, geez, Ryan replied. Why the hell do you think I came by now instead of waiting until tomorrow when we're at work? That would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? But you haven't answered your own riddle yet, I said. So there is no space. I'll buy that. I kind of have to, I suppose, given the circumstances, but that wasn't the problem. Right, said Ryan. The problem has to do with movement, with acceleration, movement. Yes, that's right. So here it is, Ryan said. I told you I had found the answer. And? And what? And what is the answer? Geez, Ryan, quit screwing around and spit it out. I just did, Ryan replied. When? Just now. And now. I'm spitting it out right now, right this second, and this second, and again, and again. What? You're saying nothing. Saying nothing? God, do you have ears? Answer, yes, but they're attached to the outside of your head. And this conversation is taking place inside your head. You're fast asleep. Have you forgotten? I actually had forgotten that I was sleeping, but didn't want to encourage Ryan. So what did you find? I found exactly what you're finding now, Ryan said. I found the answer. Acceleration and all movement is reality. What? You haven't figured out a damn thing. Oh, did I say I did? I said I found the answer. I didn't say I figured anything out, did I? Ryan, I'm going to have to ask you to leave so I can go back to bed and wake up. I told him sternly so he would know I was serious. But before I had ended the sentence, Ryan was gone, and I was in bed staring up at the ceiling. I looked at the clock. It was 5 a.m. I would be seeing Ryan again soon. Morning came. I was sitting at my computer when Ryan arrived. I said not a word, wondering how he would introduce the strange twist of events that had happened during the night. Morning, Ryan said. Morning, that's all, I answered. Oh, yeah, right. We hadn't finished the last conversation, had we? I'm still working on it. No answer yet. Sorry, buddy. Did you get a good night's rest last night? I asked Ryan. Yeah, I guess so, he said. I was fast realizing that my dream may not have been the shared event that I had been imagining. So I gave up teasing him. I dreamed about you last night. Ryan looked surprised. So tell me about it, he said. And I relayed the whole lucid story just as I had remembered it. And I told him that the dream had been so real that I had expected that he would have recalled it too. Ryan laughed. You actually thought that I had come and visited you in your sleep? That's a laugh. But I wasn't laughing. It really did seem so. It seemed like we were talking just like we are now, and just like we were yesterday. It seemed very real, very real. Well, it really was real, Ryan responded. And we were talking together just as you had imagined. But we were talking yesterday, right here at work. You've forgotten everything I had just told you. Last night you had fallen into deceleration. You were collapsing back into the forms that had built the accelerating event that we call yesterday. Our discussion happened yesterday. I told you then that I didn't yet have an answer for what acceleration is, or any movement is, in a non-spatial reality. Remember? Okay, I said, then thought for a moment. But my mind was blank, so I just sat saying nothing. Okay, so yesterday I told you that distance was mere delay in communication. The mind translating that delay into a three-dimensional spatial symbol, distance. But distance is not really distance. It is size variation, which we call perspective. And it is less detail, a fading quality. This is what distance is. Things are smaller with distance. This is how the mind focuses, making things of lesser intensity appear to be smaller in size, less detailed, and less colorful. Less audio volume too. But I think I'm getting off the subject, which was your dream. Yes, my dream, I said. You said you had found the answer, but you hadn't figured it out. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Yes, found the answer. I told you that yesterday, but you didn't understand it. So you lost focus in our reality here and fell into the sleep state. Into deceleration, as I said. And your mind reconstructed yesterday's event that you did not understand into something that might be more understandable to you. Your mind brought my yesterday's image into your reality, and it made a considerable effort to show you what acceleration and movement are. But it couldn't explain them because I was unable to do that yesterday. Your mind had nothing whatsoever to work with but that which had transpired yesterday. Our conversation here at work. I hadn't figured it out, but I had found it. So your mind gave you that information on a second pass, while you were falling back into the energy that would ultimately prime you for the subsequent day's events. And that subsequent day's events are occurring as we speak now. We are again accelerating. I give up, I said. This time, I guess it's me who will be sleeping on it tonight because I don't understand a damn thing you are saying. Ryan spun his chair around and was facing his computer. I scratched my head. I rotated my chair and began typing on the keyboard. By the end of the day, I was exhausted. Good night, I said to Ryan. Pleasant dreams, he said. Uh-oh. What does that mean? I thought. I went to bed that night with a strong bit of fear wrapped around the outer crust of my head. I didn't know why, but I was sure that it had everything to do with Ryan. I lay down and closed my eyes. I saw blackness. A door opened before me. I walked through it and was in my cubicle at work. Ryan was sitting at his computer, staring at the screen. He turned and looked at me. "Hi, bud," he said. "Sorry, still haven't figured it out yet." "No need to," I said. "I found the answer." I opened my eyes and saw a white wall. I gazed at it in wonderment, running my eyes along it until we came upon another wall, a corner wall. I ran my eyes along down the corner and found yet another wall, and down again to another. There were 4 of these walls, each at right angles to the first wall. Then I ran my eyes back to the middle of the wall from which the other walls converged. It was my bedroom ceiling. I guess I haven't found the answer, I thought. I told Ryan about my experience the next morning. "I think you did find the answer," Ryan said. "You confuse the waking and dreaming states. That's the answer." "God, Ryan," I replied, "that's nuts." "What's nuts?" he spat back. I felt confused. My head started spinning. Ryan began floating away. "Ryan," I called. "What? I can't hear you," his voice trailing off. He must have been 25 feet in the distance now. I cried out again, "Ryan, don't leave!" But my plea was in vain. Ryan was now just a tiny spot. "Oh God, I'm scared," I said. Once again I was looking at the plain white wall. I looked about me. It was 4:52 a.m. by the alarm clock on my nightstand.